The golden sunset spilled through the glass walls of Richard Carter's mansion, lighting up the decorations that now felt more like shadows. The enormous dining table was covered with balloons, ribbons, and a perfect cake topped with 10 candles. Yet every chair sat empty. Amelia Carter, his only daughter, sat silently in her pink wheelchair at the head of the table. Her tiny hands rested on her lap, her blue eyes wet with tears as she stared at the untouched cake. This was supposed to be her birthday party, a celebration of life, but instead, it felt like a cruel reminder of her loneliness. Her classmates had refused to come, making excuses, whispering behind her back that she was the girl in the wheelchair. Even the neighbors, who smiled politely to Richard in public, kept their distance. And Richard, the powerful billionaire CEO who could summon hundreds of men with a phone call, now stood helpless, realizing he couldn't summon even a single friend for his daughter. The silence was suffocating until a knock echoed through the vast mansion halls. Richard frowned, expecting perhaps a staff member. But when the door opened, it wasn't a politician, a wealthy guest, or a family friend. It was a small black boy, maybe 10 years old, his clothes a little too worn, his sneakers scuffed from long use. He stood shyly, eyes filled not with pity but with kindness, and whispered softly, "Can I come in?" Amelia's face lit up instantly, as though the universe had sent her an angel in her darkest hour. But Richard's pride bristled. "Who are you? Who let you in here?" he demanded. Before the boy could answer, Amelia's trembling voice cut through the cold air. "Daddy, please. He's the only one who came. Let him stay." The boy introduced himself as Malik, the son of a single mother who worked as a maid in the city. He admitted he hadn't brought a gift, he couldn't afford one, but instead, he brought what Amelia had longed for most: company. While Richard stood stiff with disapproval, Malik gently wheeled Amelia closer to the cake, lit the candles with shaky hands, and sang happy birthday just for her. For the first time in years, laughter rang out from Amelia's lips, a sound so pure and warm that it startled Richard himself. Malik then told her stories about his own struggles, how his mother worked day and night to keep food on the table, how he dreamed of being someone important one day even when the world doubted him. Amelia, her face glowing in the candlelight, shared her own fears, that she would always be forgotten, always be the girl who couldn't walk. But Malik didn't see her that way. To him she wasn't broken, she was special. Later that night, Malik asked her softly, "Do you want to go outside?" Richard started to object, but Amelia's eyes begged for adventure. Malik wheeled her into the mansion's garden, where the night sky stretched like a velvet blanket, filled with stars. Fireflies flickered in the dark, glowing like little birthday lights the world had forgotten to bring her. Amelia raised her head toward the sky, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice trembling with joy. For once, she didn't feel trapped in her chair. She felt alive. Richard watched them from the balcony, his chest tightening with a pain he didn't often admit to himself. He had built skyscrapers, signed billion-dollar deals, and earned the world's respect, but he had failed at the one thing that mattered most: being there for his daughter. But just as Amelia's laughter echoed through the garden, tragedy struck. The grass was damp from an earlier rain, and as Malik pushed her wheelchair along the stone path, one of the wheels slipped dangerously near the edge of the steps. The chair tilted forward, Amelia's scream piercing the night. Richard shouted from the balcony, panic flooding his veins, but he was too far away to reach her. In that split second, Malik leapt forward with fearless determination, grabbing the wheelchair and pulling Amelia back to safety. He fell hard onto the ground, scraping his knees, but he didn't let go until Amelia was secure. Richard rushed down, breathless, his heart pounding harder than it had in years. Watching his fragile daughter almost slip away broke something inside him. Yet seeing Malik, a boy with nothing, risk everything for her, he felt crushed by shame. All the money in the world, and he couldn't give her what this boy had: genuine kindness. The next morning, Richard invited Malik and his mother to join them for breakfast. Instead of the cold silence that usually filled the Carter dining table, the room buzzed with warmth, laughter, and stories. For the first time in Amelia's life, she didn't feel like an outsider in her own home. Richard looked at Malik's mother and offered her a new job, not as a maid, but in a management role in his company, because he saw her strength, not her social status. And to Malik, he made a promise: "Your education, your future, I'll take care of it. You'll never have to give up on your dreams again." From that day forward, Amelia no longer counted the empty chairs at her parties. She had something more precious than 1,000 guests. she had a friend who showed up when no one else did. Her birthday wish hadn't been for toys or money, but for someone who truly saw her. And because a little boy asked, "Can I?" her life was forever changed.